Okay, so we have been in business for approximately 40 days. My name is Mick. I'm starting a company called Mick's Got No Nuts, where we are making a 100% nut-free protein bar made in a dedicated nut-free facility. Don't laugh at the name. It's not supposed to be funny at all. Okay, so 40 days in, a lot has happened, and I made a few videos over the last few weeks, but kind of just want to summarize what I've been doing, what the results have been, and where we're going next. To reiterate, I started Mick's Got No Nuts with nothing, right? This is a company we're literally building from scratch, and this is kind of what I've been doing since the ideation date of April 2nd, where I initially posted the idea publicly, and this is what I've been doing so far. So just a reminder, first thing I did when I started my company, you get the LLC, did that through LegalZoom, you get your domain, and that would be your website, your email, right? And then email and website. That's the first thing I did. Day one, where you just gotta have the foundation to actually start. You don't want to announce to the public that you're starting a company and you have no website, you have no email, you know nothing. So this is very important to at least start you off with. Side note on the website, it is very important when you set up your website. I did it on Wix. You want an email opt-in page. You want people to essentially commit to you, even if it's temporarily. They want to know more about your company, even if you don't have a product yet. That's what I did. So I will get into this, I broadcasted the idea everywhere publicly, and if people were interested, they would sign up with their email just to get on my newsletter, welcome list, whatever you want to call it. On your website too, you want to make it extremely clear who you're serving. So your avatar, the pain, and the solution. In my opinion, within the first 2 to 4 sentences on the website, because people are going to lose interest very fast. I see in a group that I joined, the 1% I talked about a few weeks ago, and people are talking about the struggle of getting email opt-ins, where I have not had that problem at all. People have been in business for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and they have 30 to 40 email subscribers. In just a month, I have much more than that. We'll get into that in a minute. But then I go into their landing page, their website, and I see these paragraphs of problems, generic problems their avatar would have. And I know from experience, people are going to lose interest after the second sentence if they don't feel resonated with. And even after deep diving those websites, I don't even still know what they were selling. So one piece of advice, avatar pain, solution, 2 to 4 sentences at most on your landing page. That's all you really need. If you can get that on your landing page, start there, have an email opt-in setting as well, and then you can start building out your website. But you gotta have these 2 things, or these 4 things in there as well. Okay, so second thing I did after we set up the LLC, the domain, website with the email opt-in page, and these 3 things here, we set up our social media accounts. So I set up socials, and this was Facebook, Instagram, and I even have a YouTube as well, business YouTube account, all under the same name, Mick's Got No Nuts. And that was just to establish a social presence, which inherently is obvious because when I announced the company publicly, I announced it first on Instagram and Facebook. That's where I announced it. But that's what you got to do first. That's what you got to do second, excuse me. So the third point, which you might think, Mick, you should do this first. You're an idiot. No, I'm not an idiot, just young and inexperienced. This is obviously important because you need to be able to sell a product. Recipe testing, product creation. Now, I am not a big business, obviously. It is just me, myself, and I. But from what I've learned is that you can resonate with a lot of people just outlining the pain and your potential solution before you even have something ready. Especially because people will be more patient if they know that you're on a journey that might take a while when it's just you or a very, very small team. Those same people are not going to have much sympathy for, say, a big corporation teasing an idea for years or months or years, but they will have much more patience if they know you're very small and you're working on an idea. Because also in tandem, when you interact with people via social media or get people to opt in, you are essentially validating your idea. A trap that I think a lot of entrepreneurs fall into. They create the product first without the avatar in mind. They create the solution before the problem. And you get into a whole lot of trouble because then you create this gigantic or this very elaborate solution and then no one's there to buy it. So my 2 cents would be to, if you can develop this product within a couple months, a year, do this. You validate the idea, you pitch the pain out to who you think are your target avatars. Mine are people with nut allergies. So I went to the nut allergy, and I'll get into this in a moment as well. But I went into the nut allergy Facebook support groups, which had thousands of people. And I didn't pitch a product, I didn't pitch a solution. All I pitched, I didn't even pitch. It was hey, I had this idea. Do other people like yourselves have this problem as well? I said, I have a nut allergy. I struggle with getting a good amount of protein in on a consistent basis. When I go to the store, there are not a lot of 100% nut-free protein bars. Is this something that resonates with you all? And boom, yes. It is a pain that I knew a lot of people had, but this was just a way to validate my intuition. And so that was correct. And when I validated my idea via the Facebook comments, Instagram comments, email opt-ins, even people messaging me on my website, that was essentially the green light to, okay, we are gonna now test a recipe, we're gonna create the product. So I guess I should add a number 2 here. Just start posting. I think that might be kind of obvious, but you set up your socials, start posting, and then you test your recipe and your product. Okay, so number 4, you can kind of argue it would be number 2, but I'm going to make it its own point because I think it's very important. So in number 2, I emphasize just create the accounts and just start to post. But I think number 4, while you're continuing to develop your product, which I did, remember this is everything that I did. But for number 4, I would say consistent content. So obviously you can announce your idea to the world and you might get hundreds and thousands of people to say, Mick, that is a fantastic idea. And then you say, great, thank you so much. Don't forget about me, which they probably will if you don't consistently nurture them, post content, remind them of your existence, because even though they might think it's a good idea, they got a lot of stuff on their plate too, and they might forget. So it's very important to consistently create content. Now, that means, and this is what I've done, that means, I'm going to switch colors here, don't get too excited, Dad. So first thing, I've been posting 1 time per day, Facebook and Instagram. So 1 on Facebook, 1 on Instagram. Honestly, what I do, I have them synced to the Meta Business Suite, and I just post on Instagram, and then it automatically posts it Facebook. So when I make a post on Instagram, concurrently, it posts on Facebook. 1 time a day, okay? Next thing, emailing. I have gotten a lot of email subscribers, and I'll get into the numbers in a minute, but this is what I've been doing. 1 email at least per week right now, updating your subscribers on what's going on. This is a lesson that I've learned from the 1%, from capitalism.com. it's essentially to keep your email subscribers engaged enough, aware enough of your progress so that they remain interested. You can do more than one time a week if you'd like, but it's important at least a regular cadence like this so that people know A, you're alive, and B, you're making progress. Okay, so third piece of content is once every 1 or 2 weeks, I will post in the Facebook support groups. Now, this is a touchy subject, not a touchy subject. This is a thin line you have to navigate because these sort of groups, they are meant to be support groups. They don't like promotion. So even though my posts in these groups have gotten a lot of attention, good attention, I still have to be careful not to just say buy my stuff or pre-order my stuff, which I'll get into momentarily. It's important to just kind of highlight progress, but re-emphasize the pain to make sure people are aware. And obviously, we want them right now. This is our main call to action, opt into our email, and then pre-order again, which I'll get into in a moment. Fourth thing for content, this is a sneaky good outlet, laying down the seeds for future success, is you find social influencers. And I'm surprised too, there are nut allergy influencers on Instagram. It's easier to find on Instagram than Facebook because I rely on Facebook on the groups, but on Instagram I do more the influencers because there aren't really groups on Instagram. But there are nut allergy influencers with thousands of followers actually. And so I would send them a DM, and I guess I can just, I send them a DM and I say, hey, look, my name is Mick. Here's my spiel. I'm still working on the product, but eventually I would kind of love your support as I continue to build this. Maybe one day when I have the product, maybe you can give me a review, or I could, we could partner together to build each other up. And I probably DM'd about 100 people, and I would say like 10 to 20% responded with pretty positively. So will anything come from most of those? Probably not. But if there are a few that I can get them to post a review of my bar sometime in the next 3 to 9 months, then that's a win because I sowed the seeds today or this month. Last thing I did for content is I used paid ads. And I feel like this could go either way. People could say, Mick, you don't have anything to sell, don't pay for an ad. And then on the flip side, I would say, well, it's got me a lot of success. So this paid ad, what I did is, and here's a little screenshot right there. I went to the store. I went to my local grocery store, and I went to the protein bar aisle, and I just talked for like a minute about how there are no nut-free protein bars at all on the shelf. It was 57 seconds long, and I posted it, paid $100 to have the ad run for about a week, 10 days. And this ad, and I'll share the results, I guess here, yeah, sure, why not? So this ad got about 25,000 views. It got about 200 reactions or so. But the important part is, and I know this for a fact because I can see on my Wix analytics board that the time when the ad was running was when the frequency of website visits increased significantly and email opt-ins. I can't say for sure. It's hard to say where someone came from to opt into my email newsletter, but I'm very confident to say I got 150 to 200 email opt-ins from this ad that ran for a week to week and a half. Actually, I might even run it again after I record this because it was so successful and it ran out yesterday. And it is absolutely murdered. And then the cool part too is people would DM me personally saying how good of an idea it was. My daughter has a nut allergy, whatever it is. But I think this was significantly worth it. But it was important that I didn't pitch a product. if you watch my ad, which I'll link in the description, I literally started and I said, if you have a peanut or tree nut allergy, listen up. Boom. Automatic or immediate identification of the avatar. And I think a lot of people actually had I'll tell you this too, it had a 14-second average watch time, which, considering today's day and age, where the average attention span for videos online is about 3 seconds, the fact that 14 seconds, almost 5 times the average watch time, 14, I think that's pretty good. I'm very happy with how that ad turned out. I recommend watching it. I think I had a good hook, I had a good problem, and not to brag, but I did pretty well. Okay, so those are the 5 points I did for content, and it's a lot to juggle, but it will be worth it when I talk about the next step. Okay, so after a month of just posting on social media, getting email opt-ins, here are the results. And remember, I don't have a product. I have literally nothing to sell. I'm just pitching the idea and the pain and finding the right people who would resonate with that problem and that pain. So here are the results. I have my little handy dandy notebook. Guess what? Mick's Got No Nuts branded. Pretty cool. On my own walking billboard. Okay, so in just a month, so in 40 days, on Facebook, we acquired 380 followers. Not too shabby. Just with one a day posting, the paid ad, sometimes I post in the support groups, 380 followers. Pretty good. Instagram, around 125 followers. This kind of makes sense to me. My target avatar is someone with nut allergies or someone living around nut allergies. The people living around nut allergies are most likely going to be parents. And truthfully, most of them are going to be the moms. And I can back this up because I went onto my Facebook page, I looked at the analytics of my followers, the percentage of men to women who are my followers, this really surprised me. My followers, take a second guess, what percentage for men and women, okay? My women Facebook followers, okay, 95% of my followers are women. This indicates to me that coupled with Facebook being in an older crowd social media, that the majority of the people I'm going to be selling to are moms. That is my prediction. Not everyone, but the majority are moms with kids with nut allergies, right? This makes sense because Instagram doesn't have that group setting like Facebook does with those support groups who are primarily moms, who are primarily posting about their kids having nut allergies. So the fact that I have on Facebook 3 times as many followers than on Instagram, that speaks a lot. And truthfully, when it comes down to when I have the products ready to sell, I will be going to Facebook first. Now, if I can do it Instagram and Facebook concurrently, I will. But if I had to pick one, it will 1,000% be Facebook because I've seen a ton more traction on Facebook than Instagram. Okay, now email subscribers. This is a pretty healthy number. I'm very happy with this. Earlier in the video, I talked about how people have been coming up with their idea, and in this group that I'm in, the 1%, and they're scratching and clawing for 30, 40, 50 email subscribers after 1 to 3 months. I have not had that issue. Every day, especially with the paid ad running, by the way, every day I wake up and I get 3 to 10 email subscribers, and throughout the day I get 3 to 10 email subscribers as well. And the total number right now is actually 360 people. 360 people have voluntarily put their email in my email list. Now, of course, a few of them are family and friends, but I would say 90% of these are random strangers. I have no idea who they are. And then, subset of this, when I send my weekly email, my open rate approximately is 50%. That means that every week, 50% of people are actually opening my email. And that does not surprise me. I think that's a pretty darn good number compared to industry average. I would be, even the people who I am most engaged with, like an Alex Hormozy, for example, I don't open every email. So the fact that half of these people are opening and most likely reading, it's really telling on how strong the problem is. Last point, this is the most exciting one to me. On my whole spiel right now is just to get the people aware of the problem, right? The first 40 days has been very problem centric. By necessity, it has to be because I don't have anything to sell. It would be silly to try to sell a protein bar and the protein bar not be in the room with us. So obviously my ad focuses on the problem, all my messaging focuses on the problem, and maybe a little bit my progress. The problem. Okay. But I understand that the people who I'm targeting are dying for something like this, a nut-free protein bar made in a dedicated nut-free facility. And so on my website, there is an opportunity, there is a link where you can actually pre-order. I have packs of 4, 12, 36. I think 4 is $19.99, 12 is $44.99, 36 is $124.99. The amount of pre-orders I've gotten in the first 40 days, I kid you not, I've gotten $350 in pre-orders. People have literally paid me their cold hard cash for something that does not exist. If this is not indication that people actually will buy this because they are so deprived of a solution, I don't know what is. So in culmination, in 40 days, we've gotten, what is that? 505, oh my gosh, math. 865 followers and $350 in pre-orders. In 40 days. In 40 days, no product. I'm just gonna tap myself on the back right now. Maybe I'm just a victim of my own success. No, maybe I'm a victim of how strong the problem is, or a beneficiary of how strong the problem is. But this is nothing to sneeze at all. I'm very thrilled with these numbers, and I know it will only grow in the next couple weeks and months as I actually have a product, which is a whole nother story. This is a long video, but it'll be worth it. It is worth it so far, for me. So here's the business constraint, AKA the current stage of the company. I have gotten as far as I can with a suitable recipe in my kitchen. I'm fairly confident in the recipe. However, it needs to be finalized with a manufacturer, with a food scientist. And so I have an idea, a relatively tangible idea of what I want the bar to be, but I can only go so far as I have now in my kitchen before I need to go into production. So the current stage is I'm still looking for a manufacturer. Finding a manufacturer that is 100% peanut free and tree nut free and can make protein bars, I thought it would be easier than it is. Because I have seen snacks, there are competitors out there who make nut-free protein bars. Not very many, but there's one, maybe two, you could argue, that are made in a dedicated nut-free facility. But having the darndest time finding one. I found 2 in Canada. They are more large scale, so I'm not optimistic on them taking me on as a project because it will cost a lot of money. Their minimum order quantity is really high. And while I'm still conversing with them, I'm not optimistic because they want a minimum order quantity of 80,000 and it's really high. Even though I'm confident that once I have like a tangible bar in my hand to advertise, at least a sample, I can get 5 figures in pre-orders, but I think pretty confidently. But 80,000 bars is a lot. So that's a little bit of a bummer. However, there is a manufacturer that I'm speaking with in this next week in the States that claims that they can do protein bars, and they claim that they are a nut-free and peanut-free facility. I am cautiously optimistic, but I'm very optimistic because if I can confirm with them that the one in the States can make protein bars and they truly are a nut-free facility, we're in business. Because all I need is, my timeline is 3, so my timeline to launch, and I've been teasing this on my website, socials. I'm saying mid to late 2025. So I would like a sample in my hand. So sample / ingredient list. I kind of see those as the same, but I would like a sample primarily because people can see the picture. And then I know people are going to ask what the ingredients are because they already have. And I'm like, I don't know yet. I can't tell you yet. But if I can hold a physical sample in my hand, literally sample, it's a lot easier to sell a marker if you have the marker in your hand rather than the abstract idea and preying on people's desire for a marker, even though they don't know what's in the marker. So I need a sample, and I'm hoping if this one in the States can give me a sample within the next month and a half or so, month or 2 months, we're in business, because I know over the next, so I'll say 4 to 8 weeks, I know that from the sample to the to the manufacturing of the bars, the production of the bars, I'm okay with that not being until like August, September, October-ish. August would be ideal, obviously. I would love an August to October launch, because then if I can get a sample by June, let's just say June, I can have June, July, and potentially August, September, October to tease the launch. I can milk this pre-launch for months. That is not an issue. And just constantly remind people this is what's coming, this is what's coming. So my goal is to get the sample by June. And then I think ambitious, so goal for pre-orders. Remember, I'm not just gonna release pre-launch pre-orders for a week. This is a multi-month process. So my goal over 2 to 4 months pre-launch, 10,000 in sales. Deep down, I think I can get 20,000. I think deep down I can get 20,000. But we'll stick with the 10K goal for now. 20,000 is my ambitious goal, but I think it's very possible. So, give me 4 to 5 months to launch, and we're gonna be hitting gold here, because people have already paid for it. People have already paid to give me their hard-earned money for this product. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm continuing to post on socials and continuing to find a manufacturer. Fingers crossed on the States one this week. And if we can confirm that, we are up and running. So that is kind of where I'm at right now with Mick's Got No Nuts in the first 40 days. I would say if I were to give myself a grade, I would give myself an A. Not an A+. I think the only thing that I kind of messed up in the last 2 weeks, which I'm working to fix now, My onboarding email campaign was a little weak. I think I could have been more suggestive of what I wanted people to visit on the website. So what I mean is people put in their email, my Wix automatically sends them a welcome email, which I wrote. The welcome email literally just said, "Hey, thanks for subscribing. You rock." That was kind of it. I think it was a missed opportunity, which I'm fixing now, is to be provide more of a funnel in the email and include, visit FAQ section, visit pre-order section. I'm actually offering a 5% discount on the welcome email that anyone could use. So just trying to really funnel people into pre-sales, even though there's nothing ready, and it's the long shot, right? But just trying to see what I could do, because it's better than nothing, just saying, "Hey, thanks for subscribing," and that's it. So that's one thing I'm working on. And then another thing that I'm working on, another idea that I have for content while I'm pre-launching, I have an idea for a podcast where I'd interview people with nut allergies or people around nut allergies, i.e. parents. And just like maybe once or twice every month, we'll see the frequency, but just kind of almost like fostering a community of like-minded people in the nut allergy community. And so I think a podcast or like a video interview would be really interesting. Easy content, right? So it's more important for me to kind of spark continued interest in the pain rather than the solution to promote the launch. So that's all I got for you today. A lot of stuff that we went over, but I'm very confident with where I'm going. I just need to find a manufacturer to make the damn bar, and I give myself an A. So thanks for watching, Dad and Kate, and potentially Mom. So, all right. Thanks, everyone.